Annabelle, the doll that shouldn't have existed, yet became one of the most terrifying objects in paranormal history. This is the story of two young women, Donna and Angie, who unknowingly invited darkness into their home. At first, it seemed harmless, just a small, innocent doll, a nostalgic gift. But those who dared mock it, challenge it, or disrespect it met with unimaginable consequences. Some didn't live to tell the tale.
Everything and anything in here we have investigated. Don't ever touch anything. This is the worst thing in here.
But what if Annabelle was never truly haunted at all? What if she was deliberately made to be frightening?
There's no such thing as Annabelle, and there never was.
Because once you hear her real story, you might never look at this doll the same way again.
And that's exactly why we chose to examine this case. We started this channel to bring you real stories, the ones that blur the line between truth and legend. Hit that subscribe button and join us for the next one.
The story begins in 1970. A young nurse named Donna received a birthday gift from her mother, a Raggedy Ann doll, a soft toy with red yarn hair, button eyes, and stitched smile. To Donna, it felt familiar, nostalgic. So, Donna brings the doll to the small apartment she shares with her roommate, Angie. She placed it neatly on her bed, tucked among pillows. For the first few days, every time she entered the room, that stitched smile almost felt welcoming. But slowly, that innocence began to twist. The smile no longer looked sweet, the presence no longer felt safe. What started as nostalgia turned into fear. At first, it was subtle. Donna would come home from work and notice the doll wasn't where she had left it. Sometimes it sat in the living room, other times on the couch, as if it had moved while no one was watching. She blamed her imagination at first, thinking she must have placed it elsewhere absent-mindedly and carefully returned it to the bed. But the strange pattern persisted, and neither she nor Angie could explain it. Now, each passing day, the feeling of being watched grew heavier. The apartment no longer felt like a safe place. And then, without warning, the doll did something no one could ignore. And one day, the girls started to find notes around their apartment. Each one was scrawled in shaky, almost childlike handwriting, with just two chilling words. Help me. The strange thing was that the notes were written on parchment paper. Neither Donna nor Angie owned that kind of paper, and no children lived on their floor. If it wasn't them, then who was leaving the notes? But one night, when Donna walked in the house, that time she noticed red liquid seeping out of Annabelle's cloth hands. It looked like blood. Terrified, she called Angie, and both stared in disbelief. How could a raggedy cloth doll bleed? They couldn't make sense of it, but they knew they were no longer safe inside their own home. The two, desperate and terrified, turned to a priest for help. Father Hegan came to visit and examined the doll. During a séance, they're told that the spirit inside the doll is a little girl named Annabelle Higgins, who died tragically at 7 years old on the land before the apartments were built. The spirit said she was lonely and wanted to stay with them. Moved by sympathy, Donna and Angie allowed Annabelle to remain in the doll. believing they were offering comfort to a lost child. After all, she hadn't really harmed them, so they decided to keep her close. But the reality was far more sinister, because that was never the spirit of a child. Something far darker was hiding behind those stitched eyes. From the moment they accepted Annabelle, things spiraled out of control. One evening, a male friend of Donna's came over. He laughed at the doll, mocked their fear. But his laughter didn't last long. That night he awoke suddenly, paralyzed. He couldn't move his arms, couldn't shout. He felt something crawl onto his chest. Slowly, heavily. It was the doll.
When he broke free, deep claw marks appeared across his chest. 3 long scratches, bleeding. Terrified, he ran from the apartment and never returned. That was the breaking point. Donna and Angie decided they could no longer keep the doll in their home. But no matter where they placed her, Annabelle always found her way back. So now there was only one option left.
Have had dire effects on people. People have been maimed, have been killed. People have wound up in mental institutions because of many of the things they write in this book.
Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famed paranormal investigators. When the Warrens arrived, they didn't hesitate. They explain that Annabelle wasn't possessed by a young girl's spirit at all. Instead, a demonic entity had tricked them. By pretending to be a lost child in need of love, it had fooled Donna and Angie into granting it permission to stay. The Warrens decided the doll had to be removed immediately. As they drove with Annabelle in the back seat, the journey turned terrifying. The brakes failed repeatedly, and the car seemed to resist their control. It wasn't until Ed sprinkled holy water on the doll that the car finally calmed, allowing them to reach safety. Now the Warrens placed Annabelle in their museum, sealing her in a glass case with a simple, chilling warning and cross sign. Positively do not open.
Everything and anything in here we have investigated. Don't ever touch anything. And if you do, let me know. This is the worst thing in here.
But even after Annabelle was locked away in the Warrens' infamous occult museum, her terror didn't stop. Visitors claimed accidents followed them after mocking the doll. But here's the thing. As terrifying as these accounts sound, none of them come with hard proof. There are no photos of Annabelle bleeding, no evidence of the notes that read, "Help me." Even the claw marks. No medical reports, no documented injuries. Most of what we know comes from the Warrens' own accounts and retellings. So the question remains, was Annabelle truly cursed, or just the perfect ghost story? What's undeniable is the fear she left behind, because sometimes it doesn't matter whether the story is real. What matters is what people believe. And people believe in Annabelle. Enough to never touch that glass case. But Annabelle isn't the only doll said to hold darkness. In fact, another doll, Robert the doll, is even older, and some say even more terrifying. And in our next video, we're uncovering his story. So subscribe now